Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel for a new video. If you're new, my name is Macy. So today I have a new autism talk for you guys, and we're going to be talking about the systemic racism that is occurring within the Black autism community regarding diagnosis. I do feel like this is an urgent message, especially for Black children, because right now, as we speak, they are being misdiagnosed and the systemic racism is high. So what I'm going to do is read you guys an article that was published in 2020, and their findings showed that there is systemic racism occurring and children are being misdiagnosed. Now, I did an autism talk on this topic a couple of years ago, and I was really hoping that the numbers would change. However, they haven't, and so this is an urgent message for my families who have children that are African American and may suspect that their child is on the autism spectrum. You need to know that this is going on, and I need you guys to advocate, fight, and push through these barriers, because it really breaks my heart. It breaks my spirits to know that this information is occurring, and basically Black children are being set up to fail. And that really makes me so upset right now. The fact that white children are ahead of the pack. They're getting their diagnosis way earlier than the African community is. And it really, really upsets me. I'm just shocked that this is going on. But then when I think about my situation and what we went through back in 2015, I don't remember it being a huge problem. I did go to my doctor. The first doctor I had, I expressed my concerns and she told me to wait. And then I went to another doctor and she wasted no time listening to me and steering me in the right direction. Now, that was only because I advocated and I pushed. But my concern is for parents out there who just listen to the providers. They take their word. They truly feel like these healthcare providers have their best interest in heart, when that is not what the research is saying. So anyways, I hope you guys enjoy this video. I've never asked you guys to share my videos, but please share this video. So let's get into it. For Black kids, autism caught late in the game. So as you guys can see, this was published Monday, August 24th of 2020. So that's recent. It takes close to 3 years for Black preschoolers with autism to get a definitive diagnosis, a newly U.S. study finds. That delay means that young Black Americans miss out on early intensive treatment that is essential to help children with autism be better able to deal with school and social life. It's not the parents who are delaying diagnosis, it's the system. And a professor of neurology at the University of California. There's something going on in the system. Parents in this study recognized early that something was wrong with their child and tried to get help, he noted. Also, most parents had insurance that would have paid for diagnosis and treatment. Despite this, roughly 40% of parents saw multiple providers before getting a diagnosis. So as you guys can see here, it's not the parents like they always try to blame. It's the system. And this is what really bothers me, is how they always try to blame the parents and, treat the parents like they're irresponsible and not doing their job and not doing what they're supposed to do, right? So now we know that that is not true. One factor that delayed diagnosis was access to the kind of professionals qualified to make a definitive diagnosis. According to the report, 31% of parents said that a lack of available professionals able to make an accurate diagnosis contributed to the delay. Often the children were misdiagnosed as having ADHD, oppositional defiance disorder, before being correctly diagnosed with autism. And they said that it's not sure how long it takes for white children with autism to be diagnosed, but we know that they're diagnosed a lot sooner than our Black children. But according to the CDC, the median time it takes to be diagnosed is 52 months versus 65. The new findings are based on a study of nearly 600 Black children with autism in the United States who took part in the Autism Genetic Resource Exchange. Substantial delay in getting a diagnosis prevented these kids from receiving early treatment that could reduce the risk of intellectual disability caused by starting treatment late. Early treatment can include applied behavior analysis, which helps to increase behaviors that are helpful and decrease the ones that are not. The solution, according to Geswing, is a change in how the system handles these children. Greater access to trained professionals is needed, and if a racial or cultural bias exists, it needs to be overcome. The report was published online August 24th in the journal Pediatrics. And then we have Dr. Sarah Beth, who is an associate professor of pediatrics at Boston University, who authored an accompanying journal editorial, said that we feel like there are multiple issues of systemic racism there that are likely contributing to the problem. Also, for parents whose insurance is through Medicaid, it can be difficult to find a doctor who takes that insurance because of low reimbursement, which again is about the money and systemic racism and lack of qualified individuals to make the diagnosis. The practical consequence of delayed diagnosis is missing out on treatment that might help preschool children. One could only imagine if you were getting 20 hours a week of treatment, the difference if you're diagnosed even 1 year late, it could make a big difference. If you're missing out on that treatment, you're not getting it, and you're going to be delayed even further. In this study, it was more likely 2 or 3 years that's 2,000 to 3,000 hours worth of treatment that these kids are missing out on. That's a lot of hours for not getting treatment. And one can imagine how this could be extremely impactful on their lives. She believes that more providers qualified to diagnose autism is needed, especially those who are Black. If you have concerns about your child's development, unfortunately, right now the system we have in place is not doing its job in supporting you and your family as we would like. So you have this lady here that is telling you straight up that there's a system out there that is not supporting you, that is not helping your child, that's not going to help you in any way. At the moment, parents are going to have to advocate for their children, especially parents from marginalized communities, as we continue to work to improve the system so that the burden is no longer on the family. And I know that this is cut off, but I had troubles putting it in frame. But basically, that's what it's saying, is that you're going to have to advocate. You're going to have to push. If you have to drive so many miles from your home to get your child the diagnosis that they need, please do so, because this article is clearly saying that our children, our precious African American Black children, are not getting the diagnosis of autism. They're being mislabeled. They're telling them that they have ADHD, anything but autism, right? Anything but to help those children live successful lives. And then here's another article that I came across in 2020. Diagnosis timeline drags for Black autistic children. So as you can see here, more delays, more inconsistencies. Delays in autism diagnosis may contribute to the high rate of intellectual disability among Black autistic children in the United States. You guys can pause this and read it. I won't read it all. But yeah, you guys, this is a problem. So anyways, I love you guys so much. Share this video. Get this video out there to all of our African American Black families so they know and understand what's going on. So anyways, thank you guys so much for listening and watching this video, and I'll see you guys in my next one. Cheers.